Back on the racetrack, Ray.
If you look at the front of Kyle Busch's truck, he's got some damage on the left front on the nose. They had talked about pitting to put some bear bond on it. Kyle said, I don't know, I'll try to do the best I can. Decision time for Clint Bowyer. He didn't know if he should go to the inside or the outside. They said, just so you know, Kyle is third. That helped him make his choice.
That means he jumped to the outside in order not to be in front of Kyle.
So row number one, Clint Bowyer, Nelson Piquet Jr. making up that front row. Nelson Piquet will be on the inside, Clint Bowyer on the outside. Then it's Kyle Busch on the inside of row number two, and outside of him, Ron Hornaday coming through the quad oval. Green flag back in the air.
How about KHI trucks right now running 3 in the top 4?
3 wide for second. Kyle Busch on the bottom of the racetrack. Nelson Piquet Jr. checks up, allows Kyle Busch to take that spot. Here comes Hornaday on the outside, battling for second.
James Busher going to try to make his way up on the outside. Kyle Busch pulls over in front of him.
Nelson Piquet Jr. down on the bottom of the track. That's tough sledding down there. Thing wants to get loose. We've seen that happen to the best.
Ricky Carmichael, Johnny Sauter side by side. Now they straighten it out. Johnny Sauter has the spot about 6th.
How about Nelson Piquet battling back on the bottom of the racetrack, trying to get by that 18 of Kyle Busch.
That's not a surprise either for Nelson Piquet to come here and run well.
And behind him, James Busher in the 31. Then it's Johnny Sauter in that 13. Will be looking to take over the point lead from his teammate Kimi Räikkönen on the inside, Jason White on the outside.
These trucks racing in the top 15, racing for the 14th position.
Max Pappas in that number 9 is going to receive the black flag from NASCAR.
He pulled to the pits. He's inside the pit road area.
He goes to pit road. They were no longer scoring him. Problems for Joey Coulter. He goes to the apron of the racetrack. Now back out onto the racing surface.
Jumping out of gear, he said.
Clear behind.
I think this might be the best truck on the track, Phil. James Busher is just steadily running faster than the other guys when he gets an open track. I think maybe that's the guy you're going to have to beat tonight.
He took over the 4th spot from Nelson Piquet Jr. Johnny Sauter now is going to try to take 5th from Nelson Piquet. There's Kimi Räikkönen right there, the 15 truck right of your screen. That's just inside the top 15. Justin Marks, the 66 GoPro Chevrolet, jumps to the outside and gets by Kimi Räikkönen.
Räikkönen right down there on the white line as we see Johnny Sauter in front of Nelson Piquet Jr. on the left side of your screen.
There's Cole Witt.
He gets a good run off the corner and gets to the outside of Kimi Räikkönen.
Number 4, fresh tires. As fresh tires as anybody in the field right now.
Whoa, he gets a little loose on entry. Up the hill he goes.
Out in front, it's still Clint Bowyer. He's got a 6/10 of a second lead over Ron Hornaday. Kyle Busch runs third. James Busher is 4th, and Johnny Sauter your top 5. There you see David Starr moving up the racetrack. Here comes Kimi Räikkönen to the bottom of the track, going by that 81.
You know, if you race Formula One and World Rally cars, you don't see many caution flags. He's probably experienced more of those tonight than he has his whole career.
And he's been racing from the time they dropped the green flag, racing with somebody.
I know we've got 41 laps to go, but how would you grade Kimi Räikkönen in his first ever NASCAR race?
Well, if you take into consideration the degree of difficulty that some of the cats that have lost control of their trucks, you'd have to give him an A+, Rick, because he's gotten up into the top 10. He stayed there, raced just inside the top 15. He's been all over the front of the field, so I'm really happy with his performance today. Another guy that I'm loving watching is Clayton Rogers. We had a great piece on him in the pre-race. He loves this sport. He wants to be here, and he's proven tonight, that he belongs here.
Just jumped up to the 9th spot, got by Travis Kvapil. He was running 10th, got by Travis for the 9th spot.
Comes Brad
Oh, we got a spinner.
Smoke right in front of that group. That's the 02 of Jamie Dick once again. Up near the wall and not up to speed.
Keep coming, keep coming.
We've seen this be a problem as they go through the quad oval.
Inside.
So far, we stay green.
Everybody able to avoid.
4 more.
Tires going down on that 02. Sparks flying from underneath.
1 more. Get low.
Caution's out.
Caution is out.
And the caution comes out for the 9th time tonight. 1 away from the record.
We got a long way to go, Rick.
And 39 laps remaining.
That 02 Viva truck is beat up, isn't it?
Shane Seek decided to stay right behind him.
Wonder why he's doing that. That would get on my nerves. Looks cool though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Look at the sparks go off the splitter of that 93 truck.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know.
I've seen a lot of stuff in my years of racing. I never
We've
saw
seen
that.
a lot of things tonight that we haven't been able to really wrap our brains around. Todd Bodine spun, hit the wall. Hornaday has spun. Kyle Busch has spun.
Timothy Peters.
Timothy Peters spins. 9 cautions already tonight. And we see Jamie Dick coming to a stop in his pit stall.
I believe that ought about do it for Jamie.
I think they've decided we need to push you into your pit stall. So much damage to the sheet metal of that race truck. Again, out in front, Clint Bowyer has the lead. Hornaday running second. Kyle Busch is third. James Buescher and Johnny Sauter rounding out our top 5. Then Nelson Piquet Jr., Austin Dillon, Ricky Carmichael, Brad Sweet, and Clay Rogers, your top 10. The 9th caution comes out as the 02 of Jamie Dick blows a tire and heads to pit road. Welcome back. North Carolina Education Lottery 200 presented on Speed by Yamaha, with just 36 laps to go here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have a winner. I would have to say that's the fans that are enjoying this race. They're definitely the winner tonight. And Ray Dunlap, what's happening with our front row?
Well, Rick, you know, middle of last year, I kept telling you over and over that every time KHI debuted a brand new chassis, it was a contender to win. And they had quite a streak going, but that thing cooled off a little bit at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. But it may get hot again tonight. Clint Bowyer is driving a brand new truck, number 59, and right behind him, Ron Hornaday has number 58, the 2 newest vehicles out of the KHI stable. So these guys talking on the radio about how each other's truck is responding. Bowyer said, after I go 3 or 4 laps, I can go wide open, but then it gets loose. Hornaday says, I can't go any laps wide open. I'm already loose when we get to green.
We were able to listen in to the communications for the 2 of Clint Bowyer. This is what he had to say.
Just get you a start like you did before. You know, everybody's running near the same speed, and they got to get around you once we get out front. So if you got to reach up and break that mirror, do it. Then I'd have to rely on you. Ooh, good point.
A little fun there between spotter and driver. So Clint Bowyer out in front of the field. He chooses the outside line. That puts Hornaday down on the bottom of the racetrack. James Buescher and Kyle Busch making up row number 2. Kyle Busch on the bottom, James Buescher on the top. Johnny Sauter, Nelson Piquet Jr. making up row number 3. Pace car makes its way back onto pit road, putting the field back in the hands of Clint Bowyer. They make their way through the quad oval, and green flag comes back out. We're back to racing.
3 wide. Kyle Busch takes them 3 wide as they head toward turn 1. He does that a lot.
How about that now?
Hornaday not up to speed as quickly, and that allows Kyle Busch to jump into the middle. 3 wide, battling for second. Here comes Buescher on the outside. Are they going to make it 4 wide? You see Hornaday chasing the truck down onto the apron.
He went to block Johnny Sauter, and I think there was some contact there, Phil.
Yes, there was. And look, he's chasing that truck all over the racetrack.
Johnny Sauter making the move, trying to take away the 3rd spot from Hornaday, as we see Buescher up to second now, chasing behind Clint Bowyer.
I'm not so sure it's the tires' fault. I think these guys are just really driving aggressively. We saw contact on the back straightaway a couple times tonight. Peyton Rogers almost had his truck get away from him down there in 1 and 2. These guys are on it tonight. We talked about how important it is to perform well at your home track. Everybody's wanting to impress their team. These guys are driving hard. Look at Nelson Piquet under Johnny Sauter. Looked like Johnny got loose down at 3.
He slid up the racetrack, and that opened the door for Nelson Piquet Jr. Now Kyle Busch is going to jump to the outside of Hornaday going in turn 1.
Battle for the 3rd spot. Hornaday, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch on the outside has the position.
having to wade into the throttle, not able to stomp that throttle as we see Piquet jump to the inside of his teammate Hornaday. Cole Witt's making some moves back there too. Remember, he was one of the last cars to come to pit road. He has now moved his way up well into the top 10, right behind Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, he took these guys 3 wide off turn 4. Almost made the pass, but now having to pull back in behind Ricky Carmichael.
Nelson Piquet Jr. moves to the inside of that 33 of Hornaday. Those two are fighting for the 4th spot.
Remember, these guys battled for the 2nd position at Nashville, with Piquet able to get by Hornaday for that 2nd spot.
Continues into turn number 1. Sparks fly from underneath the 33 as he gets into one pretty hard on the high line. They stay door to door as they go down the backstretch. Nelson Piquet Jr. working the bottom of the racetrack. Hornaday trying to keep the momentum up on the outside.
Piquet's giving him plenty of room in the corner, staying right next to the white line.
Well, we know how hard what he's doing is, Phil, because of the aero aspect of trying to keep that truck pinched down. But he did a nice job. It never bobbled. Now he's going to fall in behind Hornaday, maybe run a couple of laps and reassess what his truck needs to be able to complete that pass. Cole Witt is just dying to go 3 wide on these two. He did it off turn 4 a lap ago, and he almost did it there off 2.
Austin got by Cole Witt. Remember, Cole Witt and Ricky Carmichael were racing side by side. Austin now has gotten by both of them and moved up into the 7th spot.
And then look at this gaggle.
Problems with the 81 of David Starr. He's slow on the racetrack. Smoke coming out the back.
Blows the right front tire
down.
Got loose on him, guys. Got loose on him.
I believe we're going to tie a record. Sure enough, caution has come out for the 10th time at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
We heard the spotter say David got loose and the truck got away from him, made contact with the outside wall, cut down that right front tire.
This is a record that I was hoping we wouldn't tie or break. 10 cautions already tonight with just 28 laps remaining.
I didn't think we were done having cautions, and I still don't think we are.
Down at the bottom of the racetrack.
Got loose. Was that Kemi right behind him? Be a good view from his onboard camera.
Once again, he's been close to the action.
You know, I'm really curious. He said that if tonight didn't go well, let's look at his in truck. See the wow.
Right in front of him.
That's close. You know, Rick, he said before the race if he didn't do well tonight, he wouldn't come back. And I think he's done well. I wonder what he thinks about the experience, all these crashes he's seen.
You know, right before David Starr had his problems, Kimi actually got into the wall. Take a look.
That's about like he did it in practice.
Yeah, maybe a little bit harder there. You could see that truck jump up in the air. Quite hard. Remember, he just said he just touched it in practice. He hit it quite hard that time.
I can't wait for the rest of this. This is fun.
27 laps to go. Not so much fun for David Starr in that 81 who's on pit road. It's been a long day. It started 13 hours ago for Kimi Räikkönen in his first foray in NASCAR. Once he climbed in and all the photographers had their pictures, he had his hands full on the racetrack.
Really throughout most of both practice sessions. Here's the final practice. That's completely sideways.
I don't think many people save that truck, no matter how much experience they've had. We've seen how difficult it is to keep control of your truck. They worked on it, got it tightened up. What do you know? Too tight. Into the outside wall he went.
And this is race action.
Watch this move.
To make some moves.
Makes it 3 wide here on the bottom of the racetrack. Bounces off the wall yet again just a few moments ago.
Right in front of him. David Starr has problems into the wall. Close call once again.
It's been an action-filled 13-hour day for him.
We listened in to his radio communication moments ago. Here's what they had to say.
Yeah, it's a little bit too tight, so once it heats up, it seems to start to be okay. But every time when it feels that it's